YouTube, a website of great respectable creators that make fulfilling and unforgettable content. However, that isn't always the case. For every Mr. Beast, there's a Sandpepper. With every critical comes an Elsagate. And with every cancerous YouTuber or channel comes controversy. However, when it comes to all these crazy controversies, a lot of them seem to get overshined by each other. Where years ago at the time, highlight dissensions such as the 2017 CSGO Lotto scandal occurred, where YouTuber T. Martin and fellow YouTuber Tom Castle were knowingly advertising a CSGO Lotto service without disclosing to their fans that they were the owners of the website. However, nowadays, these two YouTubers have seemingly got past this controversy and are still very successful on YouTube, very controversy-free no less, to a few years ago, and that's what I'm here to discuss today, the Forgotten Controversies of YouTube. And to start, the first forgotten YouTube controversy would happen all the way back in 2007, when at the time 18-year-old Pekka Erika Vuotin would post a slew of shooting and gun-related videos, as well as wicked rants on his YouTube channel, Natural Selector 89, where around June of 2007, YouTube star Amazing Atheist would call out Pekka Erika Vuotin, making comparisons to him with people such as Sung Hoo Cho, where months earlier he would go on a rampage, unfortunately killing over 30 of his classmates, as well as Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the Columbine shooters, along with that, pointing out his odd liking for things such as guns and communism, further saying people like Pekka are showing all the signs of a killer, and people like him should be investigated, and it goes without saying, the Amazing Atheist could not be more correct. Around 1 month before the day of November 7th of 2007, Pekka's Natural Selector 89 YouTube channel was terminated for unknown reasons. However, the same day, Pekka would create another YouTube channel known as Stormgist 89, where he would basically make the same type of content that he did on his original channel, such as shooting videos and rants. However, not even 1 month later, on November 7th of 2007, his new channel would be deleted, when on the same day, tragedy would happen.
Welcome back. The news from Finland came in stages. First, the reports of the school shooting, then the casualty figures, 8 victims killed, another 12 wounded. Then came the YouTube angle and news that the 18-year-old gunman had posted video of himself and his personal grievances on the web for all to see. It was reminiscent of the shooting at Virginia Tech earlier this year, but in the aftermath, there were big differences in the way the Finnish news media covered the tragedy compared to how the American media covered Virginia Tech. Our starting point this week, 2 similar news stories and the dissimilarities in how the tragedies were reported.
A pupil who killed 8 people on Wednesday in a school shooting in southern Finland.
Finland mourns the victims of the Jokela school massacre.
The shooting happened just hours after a video was posted on YouTube.
This was a global story, and what set it apart was not what happened, a high school student on a shooting rampage, but where it happened, in Finland, and the way the murderer's identity came to light.
Now, following this unfortunate incident, Pekka would attempt to take his own life but was unsuccessful in doing so at the moment. Regardless, following the massacre of 8 students, staff members, and people that were killed by Pekka's hands, it was also revealed that online, people were very worried about what Pekka might do. As well as this, the Amazing Atheist would make a response on the shooting, where he would go in on saying that he was vindicated on the shooting, very unfortunately as he said, as well as saying that he was ultimately not surprised that this happened. On the day of the shooting, Pekka's father Ismo would get a call from one of Pekka's friends where he would ask Pekka's father if Pekka was at home, being notified about the shooting. Following this, Ismo would rush home to Pekka's room, only finding a note saying, "To my father, mother, and brother." On the same day, Pekka would succumb to his self-injury and die on November 7th of 2007 at 22:15 p.m. Now, with this tragic start to the video, let's go to a little more lighter controversy on YouTube. Well, sort of. Going to the more creepier side of things, in November of 2009, a YouTube video of a middle-aged man named Patrick, who seemed to be talking to someone who he as knew as named Walter, where he would explain he met someone at the mall, and I think I'll just let the video explain itself.
I met the most wonderful girl! We went shopping at JCPenney's and she tried on a lot of clothes, and she ended up buying a whole lot of them, you know what I mean? And then we decided to go and take a look at some of the jewelry at K Jewelers, and she picked out this most awesome necklace, the most amazing necklace I've ever seen. And I know she wanted me to buy it for her because she kept on looking at me and kept on giving me that look, you know the look. And then we got kind of tired of the mall, and I brought her back to my place. And I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm going to show you her anyways. You ready?
No!
For somewhat obvious reasons, in late 2016, the original High Walter YouTube channel and video was deleted, but when you just consider the fact that since late 2009, this video has been on the internet, it really tells you a lot about how creepy things like High Walter could be on the internet for so long without being discovered. That is until late 2016, 7 years after the original High Walter post was uploaded on YouTube, where in September of 2016, a huge uprising of the video's attention would come to the mainstream on the internet. The controversy would begin when a lot of people would believe that the captive girl in the video looked a lot like a missing girl named Kayla Berg, where on August 11th of 2009, the Antigua police would begin to investigate the missing teen's disappearance. Leading up to the disappearance during the summer of 2009, the 15-year-old would be living in the town of Antigua, living a happy, peaceful life. However, on the day of August 11th of 2009, Kayla would ask a friend of hers to be brought outside of a condemned house around 40 minutes outside of her town around 9 o'clock at night, and this would be the last time that she was ever seen. The reason why this would be connected to the High Walter video is due to the fact that 2 months after her disappearance, this video also happened to be released when Kayla went missing. Other similarities that were in the video, it was mentioned by Patrick he was shopping with a girl at JCPenney and K Jewelers, shops that were coincidentally close to the disappearance site of Kayla, as well as that the pink dress that the girl was seen wearing in the video was reported to be the last thing that Kayla was wearing following her disappearance. So, following these crazy coincidences, people began to believe, very convinced that this was Kayla in the video. Following this, the FBI, along with Kayla's family, was notified about the discovery, with Kayla's mother even saying in an interview that lots of Kayla's friends and family said that the girl in the High Walter video looked and sounded a lot like her. And with that, the investigation with the FBI and Antigua police began. Around at this point, YouTube was convinced that this video is real, where they would soon delete the original High Walter video and channel. Following the rise of this controversy, mainstream channels such as Inside Edition and Scare Theater would report on the story, and with that, the truth would slowly start to unravel with this video and the people involved with it. And to start, the man playing Patrick in the video was seen in lots of other skit videos multiple times in the past, where following this discovery, it would put a lot of skepticism into the High Walter video being fake. Furthermore, with investigation from Antigua police, they were soon able to 100% confirm that the High Walter video was fake, being able to reach out to the actor, actress, and other associated people like the cameraman and producer in the video. And with that, the High Walter video was debunked, and in turn putting an end to this controversy. And even though this video ended up being fake, unfortunately, still, as of 2023, Kayla Berg is still missing, and it's very unfortunate, especially when you consider the fact that she had her whole life ahead of her, and it's very, very unclear where she could be today. But with that, this brings us into our next controversy. In February of 2011, a channel known as 112 Dirtbag would be created. For 1 year, the 112 Dirtbag channel would post odd videos, but on the day of February 9th of 2012, the 112 Dirtbag channel would post a particularly odd video. Now, following this video, it wouldn't gain too much attention when it was originally uploaded. However, soon following its upload, people would begin to speculate that this video was uploaded in connection to the disappearance of a woman named Maura Murry, where on February 9th of 2004, Maura would begin a trip outside of her town, where she would mysteriously tell nobody where she was going, and following of her disappearance, she would contact her boyfriend via email saying, "Hey, I got your message, but honestly, I didn't feel like too much of anyone. I promise I'll call today though," as well as this, leaving a voice message promising to contact him later. As well as this, Maura was attending the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where she would email her school's faculty saying she had to leave for a week due to there being a death in the family. Now, odd thing is that there was no actual death in her family. However, following this, she would leave town, but not before getting $280 out of her bank account and getting $40 worth of alcohol, where this would be the last time she was ever reported in her town. After this, Maura's search history would reveal that she was looking for directions for places such as the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. She was also looking for multiple condos and hotels for renting them out. Now, it's unclear where exactly she was going, but judging by her search history and calling history, it's clear that these were possibly some of the places where she was going to. However, on Route 112 near Woodsville, New Hampshire, she would crash her car, where she would in turn crash into a snowbank. Now, a ways down, a street resident of the area heard the accident and called 911. Along with this, a school bus driver named Butch Atwood would see the accident and ask Murray if she needed him to call 911, and she would plead with the bus driver to not call the cops, already saying that she called AAA. This was untrue, though, due to the fact that in AAA's records, no call from Maura would ever occur. Regardless, Butch Atwood was the last person to ever see Maura. Following this, once the school bus driver returned home, he would regardless contact 911, where they would in turn head to the last site where Maura was reported missing. But the crazy thing is that once they arrived there, Maura was nowhere to be found, and even to this day in 2023, she is still missing. And with that, that's where the 112 Dirtbag channel comes into play. And how do you ask, you might think? Well, the original anniversary date of the 112 Dirtbag was posted on the day of Maura Murray's disappearance, 8 years after her disappearance. And second, other similarities that were in the 112 Dirtbag video is obviously the 112 part in his name, obviously being the route where Maura went missing. And furthermore, the Dirtbag part of his name is something that his father, Maura's father, quoted, saying that the people who took my daughter are dirtbags. Other similarities that are in the video, such as the end of the video saying happy anniversary, where you can clearly see at the end of the video it says happy anniversary. So with that, the people in law enforcement would go on figuring out who this man was and seeing how and what way he was connected to the disappearance of Maura Murray. And it wouldn't take too long to figure out that the 112 Dirtbag channel was run by a man named Jeffrey Alden Olson. As previously mentioned, this guy was a creep who would often post a slew of odd videos. However, it would soon be revealed by Jeffrey that he had nothing to do with Maura's disappearance. First, it would be revealed that Jeffrey was being investigated and interviewed by the police. However, they could find no good reason to figure out or connect him to Maura's disappearance. Furthermore, a lot of people would just believe that Jeffrey Olson was a crazy person looking for attention. He has well made multiple vlogs and videos about other disappearances that would occur in Massachusetts. So, following this revelation, it became more clear that the 112 Dirtbag channel, or otherwise known as Jeffrey Alden Olson, had nothing to do with Maura's disappearance, and so did this controversy. But as previously mentioned, Maura Murray is still missing to this day, and if you want more information on her disappearance, you should go watch the Nick Crowley video on her unfortunate disappearance, link in the description. And with that, this brings us into our next forgotten controversy of YouTube, the Reply Girls era. Starting around the mid-2011s, a girl named Alejandra Glutzen will post the first of multiple Reply Girl videos on YouTube. Now, if you try and look for the Reply Girl videos now, it's very hard, if not next to impossible, to find their older videos, and by what I can find, this is following 2012, these videos have been seemingly smited off the face of YouTube, more than likely being deleted or just banished so far down into the YouTube pits, it's next to impossible to find them. But this only asks us, what are Reply Girls, and what happened to them? Well, as previously mentioned, a female named Alejandra Glutzen created the original Reply Girls brand. She had struck gold with it. She managed to take the complete YouTube algorithm to her complete advantage by first creating a sexualized thumbnail and turn attracting young prepubescent kids as well as just horny adults, getting their attention. Second, by making a reply on a popular video, she was copying the search and highlight data to in turn get a high click-through rate, and finally repeat this process again, and again. And of course, with Alejandra's success, other females on YouTube took notice and started copying their own tactic. Before you knew it, every YouTube video had a Reply Girl with it. Now, the same exact low-effort thumbnail saying RE to any and every YouTube video got so popular and viral that day, it became an epidemic on YouTube, so much so, to a large point, YouTube stars such as Boogie2988 and Psychedelic Pebbles made responses on the rise to this toxic genre, no pun intended.
There's like the Reply Girl and Mega Sparks and stuff, and what they're doing is they're creating these videos, and they're reply videos. They're called the Reply Girls. What they do is they respond to videos, and then they get, like, you know, little thumbnail, and then the thumbnail they show off the breasts, you know, kind of whatever, showing off what they got, and then little 14-year-old boys click on them, and then they don't know any better. And then they rate the video down, but these girls get to show their ads, and they get to make a little money because of all the views and the clicks that they're getting. Just because we can't help them ourselves, we see those little breasticles, I guess, probably the polite way to put it, and we click on them. So I thought to myself, maybe I should start making some reply videos and then just make some, you know, easy views and clicks. So I thought, I've got cleavage, I could just show off what I've got here. So here's a bit of what I got. Huh? Yeah, come on, get up in here, I'll show you. And for some reason my cleavage is sideways. but there it is anyway. And I like how they all cut off their foreheads so that they can fit just the boobs in the frame, because then they say things like, "Oh, your video was so interesting because there was cats, and then there was a robot, and then there was robot cats, and oh, it made me so hot and spicy, and I was so scared because the one robot said to the cat, he said meow, and the robot said beep beep meow, and oh my god, and I like it." So that's probably worth a couple million hits, right?
Video, it was...
What the fuck are you?
By this point in 2012, these Reply Girl channels were so controversially popular, they were able to get partnerships to in turn make a lot of money. I mean, that's the whole reason in the first place that these channels begun, as well as that. In 2012, every YouTuber and viewer of YouTube was getting extremely fed up and annoyed with these spam videos of cheap and annoying content on YouTube. But it's clear, YouTube had to do something about it. The first idea came from YouTuber Lewis from Yogscast, where he recommended that YouTube should not recommend or put any of these videos in the suggested bar with an overwhelming amount of dislikes. And sure, at first, this sounds like a great, straightforward idea, but when you consider the fact that this would in turn set a precedent to where if any major or even very disliked opinion were to get disliked a good amount on YouTube, this could in turn kill the YouTuber's channel, as well as that. Let's say a certain group on the internet were not a fan of someone's content or channel, they could, in theory, just dislike bomb their whole channel into an oblivion. Regardless, it's clear, YouTube had to do something about this cancerous content taking over the website, without in turn creating another major YouTube problem on the website, and that's when the idea of audience retention was created. The idea was, since there was such a high click-off rate on the Reply Girls videos, this new update would in turn unrecommend and get every Reply Girl video out of the watch recommended section or just major tab section of YouTube, and just like that, it was a major success. Just as the Reply Girls came, they died out in the new algorithm. Now, even though this was a major success on YouTube, a lot of channels, such as comedy-themed and animation-themed channels, took a major blow to this. However, I think it's clear that in one way or another, that these channels took a major comeback in some sort of way. Speaking of comedy-themed animation channels, that brings us into our next controversy, Toby Turner. Now, I feel as ultimately, Toby Turner needs no introduction, assuming you're above the age of 15, but for a refresher, Toby Turner was on top of the YouTube space from 2011 up to 2013, creating iconic content. Now, Toby, otherwise known as Tobuscus, had three very successful channels for this time. These included Tobuscus, his main channel that he would mainly post comedy-themed skit animation type videos, his second channel with a little 2 in the thumbnail, Toby Turner, where this would be his vlog-like channel. This was easily his most unpopular channel, at least compared to his main and gaming channel, which both had over 6 million subs, and in his second channel, only Toby Turner, had in 2012 around 1.5 million subs. And finally, Toby Games. This was easily his most revolutionary channel, with it currently being the most subscribed channel as of right now that he has. But back in the day, his starter series and other series such as Minecraft and Happy Wheels were true icons on his gaming channel that really revolutionized his channel and gained into overall popularity. He as well had associated with Cartoon Network to make the series The Annoying Arch. At this time, he was on top of the world. He had lots of brands and merchandise deals he would pump out daily, well, basically daily, and due to his success, he was very popular just on and off the YouTube space overall. However, eventually, all this success came crashing down all the way back in early 2016.
A person I dated a few years ago has just made some extremely serious, false accusations about me. And I want to be crystal clear. I've never done anything without her consent. I've never tried to trick her into anything. I read her Tumblr post and I was shocked. And I was hurt. These allegations are absolutely false. I just wanted to address it. That's all.
So what is it that happened? Well, on April 8th of 2016, an ex-girlfriend of Toby Turner named April Fletcher accused Tobuscus of drugging and raping her. She as well made several cheating and drug allegations, where she would go on to say that he was often text and hang out with other girls behind her back, as well as that April would go on to say that he was a common user of drugs such as cocaine and Molly, and following this, other women would come forward and call out Toby for the same reasons that April did, from Toby raping them to him being a wild drug user. And when all of these accusations were revealed, it quickly broke the internet, with channels such as Drama Alert, Philip DeFranco, and Scarce all jumping on the story. Now, to be clear, even to this day, no one knows if any of these accusations have been confirmed or are true for that matter. And you know, on the surface, it might seem like this controversy put Toby Turner's channel, brand, and likable image to death, although this isn't really the case. When you look at the analytics pre-going into this controversy, it's clear that Toby Turner's brand and image were all on the decline. So even though this controversy didn't kill Toby Turner's channel and brand, it sure did make it to where he would never recover again.
Don't be afraid, Uncle Matt's here to tell you a bedtime story. And that's how you set the tone for a video.
As you can tell, our next forgotten controversy involves Matthew Santoro, and believe me, there's quite a few controversies involving him, which we'll get into. But at one point, Matthew was arguably the most popular top 10 channel on YouTube. Rather than going the Watch Mojo way, putting out quantity, Matthew would rather put time and effort into his videos, and it really paid off with him gaining millions of views and subscribers, and he would remain popular for quite some time. However, in January of 2016, things would change.
Abuse knows no gender. It's something that people don't talk about. It's something that is embarrassing, so no one wants to talk about it. But I'm making this video to tell you that you need to talk about it. Whether you're a man or a female, if somebody hits you, tell somebody. Tell a family member, tell a friend. Don't bottle it up.
On January 10th, Matthew would upload a video called My Abuse Story, where he would call out the dark side and unforeseen perspective of abuse. He as well, without name dropping her, would call out his ex-girlfriend Nicole Arbor for, well, being abusive. Now, even before this video was released publicly, Nicole and Matthew's relationship seemed really toxic. However, following this call out of abuse, this really seemed to gain a lot of respect from Matthew, and with this, channels such as Drama Alert, Boogie2988, Grade A Under A, and even multi-million-dollar media conglomerate, the Young Turks, would all report on the story. However, a few months later, Matthew would yet again be thrust into the controversial mainstream, not on the right side of it. You see, on May 1st of 2016, Grade A Under A would post a video calling out YouTube drama, more specifically calling out Matthew Santoro.
Have an almost identical topic 5 days apart and have the exact same names in the exact same order as the list verse article. Matt pretty much just read out exactly what was in the articles.
Character in 500 commercials spanning a career of 21 years. In fact, in a 1978 poll, Mr. Whipple was the third most recognizable man in America, right behind Richard Nixon and Billy Graham, which consisted of 6 votes, including those from himself and his parents. In 1931, a guy named Plenty Wingo was talking to some friends about publicity stunts when he came up with his own. He decided to walk backwards around the world. He made it 13,000 kilometers before being sent back over a border dispute with Istanbul.
Jesus Christ! Again! What a fucking coincidence!
Now, for years on the internet, places like Reddit, people would often call out Matthew for plagiarism, but it wasn't known by the public until Grade A's video. Following this, a slew of YouTubers and people on the internet would criticize Matthew for this. A lot of the people who praised him for his stand-up against abuse. It got to the point where when Matthew was at VidCon, YouTuber Minnesota Boy would confront him on this controversy.
Alright, there's Matthew. There's Matthew. Hold on. Just give me a second. Matthew.
What's
Pleasure
up?
to meet you, man.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Good. You're a vlog channel, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Can I get you in my vlog?
Yeah, man. What's
Matthew
up?
Santoro, dude. Anything you want to say?
Man, just chilling here at VidCon. What are you up to?
Nothing. Exposing YouTubers.
Exposing YouTubers? Okay. About what?
You got exposed.
Who got exposed?
You did.
For what?
Grade A Under exposed you.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Everybody makes mistakes, right? So the thing is, you have to learn from those mistakes and just don't do them again. And you know what? Everybody goes through their career and makes mistakes. And one day you're gonna make a mistake, but you know what? It's all right.
Hey, man.
As long as you learn from it.
Hey, man. I'm looking for the best, man. Hopefully you learn from this, man.
Hey, same with you, brother.
All right, man.
All right. Take care.
So basically, we just got done exposing Matthew Santoro.
However, with this, the controversy would quickly fade away and Matthew's loyal fans would eventually forgive him for this. However, our next controversy, on the other hand, would irrevocably change YouTube and how it operates when in February of 2017, PewDiePie, who if you've been on the internet for more than a week should need no introduction, where he made a video where he made some pretty offensive actions towards a certain group of people.
The fuck is this? I paid for this. What? What's with the Christmas? I like the editing.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
Bitch wouldn't play Roblox with me, but these guys wrote.
Now, following this, you might just think, oh, that's just classic edgy PewDiePie, and it was. However, the mainstream media didn't see it that way. News sites like the Wall Street Journal, Vox, Discredify, and so many more news sites quickly jumped on the video, comparing PewDiePie to a Nazi, and calling him the second coming of Hitler. This gained so much attention that these news sites would contact PewDiePie's network, Maker Studio, to cut ties with him, and so they did. Following this, projects that PewDiePie was working on with makers such as Scare PewDiePie Season 2 was cancelled, and as well as this, these news companies took it even further, criticizing YouTube advertisers, saying that their ads are associated with anti-Semitism, racism, and basically any offensive thing you can think of. When these advertisers caught flack for this, they quickly pulled their ads off of YouTube, in turn creating what we now know as the adpocalypse, and following this, multiple YouTubers and channels would be affected by it. However, during 2017, when the adpocalypse was in the full swing of it, PewDiePie was yet again thrust into another controversy in September of 2017.
What a fucking...
Now, following the release of this livestream video, much to the Death to All Jews video was released, it gained massive negative publicity from the media, and some of PewDiePie's fans as well. So much so, PewDiePie made a response on the new controversy.
On what I said in my previous live stream, you probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming as well. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not going to make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it. I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from all these past controversies. And it's not that I think I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. But that doesn't make what I said or how I said it okay. It was not okay. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better. I know I can't keep messing up like this. And I owe it to my audience and to myself to do better than this, because I know I'm better than this. I really want to improve myself and better myself, not just for me, but for anyone that looks up to me or anyone that's influenced by me. And that's how I want to move forward away from this. That's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Now, all things considered, these are really the only things in terms of controversy PewDiePie has had to deal with in his career, and other than a few minor things happening to him, such as his network cutting ties with him, PewDiePie has still remained the most iconic YouTuber around. And speaking of YouTube, that brings us into our next controversy. In December of 2018, YouTube released their yearly YouTube Rewind. However, unlike years before, this one did not go over well with the community by both content creators and viewers alike. So, what was it that was the problem with YouTube Rewind 2018? Well, to start, people were not happy about the fact that there were more celebrities than content creators in it, and it makes sense after all. Comparing YouTube Rewind 2013 to 2018, you can tell that the amount of YouTubers in 2013 was around 90% content creator and/or YouTube icon to the 10% music artist and/or brand entity. However, going forward 5 years to YouTube Rewind 2018, over 75% of the people on YouTube Rewind 2018 are music artists, Instagram stars, and/or talk show hosts, etc., to the YouTuber amount, which would be around 25%, with 20% of those YouTubers being foreign or brand-like channels. Second, on top of the lack of YouTuber presence, people have pointed out why certain YouTubers who have made it in YouTube Rewind's past haven't made it in YouTube Rewind 2018 this year, such as PewDiePie and Shane Dawson. And sure, you can argue that these type of YouTubers have controversial backgrounds, but to some extent, a lot of these people and/or YouTubers have controversial backgrounds. But when you consider the fact that PewDiePie and Shane Dawson have huge followings, it would make sense on why, in YouTube's eyes, they wouldn't want to put these two YouTubers in Rewind 2018. But what about now? The biggest YouTube star, Mr. Beast. Why was he not featured in YouTube Rewind 2018, when in 2018 he was at a huge rise? Well, to put it simply, I really didn't think that YouTube cared, because when you consider the fact that all of these brands were buying their way into YouTube Rewind, it would just make sense to leave out less space for real YouTubers on the website. And third, people were ultimately not happy about the decline of YouTube Rewind from 2015 to 2018, and what I mean by that is, in 2015, people really started to notice the decline in YouTube Rewind, whether that be the amount of YouTubers that were in it, to the subject of the Rewind, but people were a little less interested in it, and come 2017, these criticisms only grew to where in 2018, it all came blowing up in their face. In turn, YouTube Rewind 2018 became the most disliked video on the platform, with YouTube Rewind 2019 coming in the top 10s. And that brings us into our fourth point. YouTube Rewind 2018 is just cringy, and it really is when you consider the fact of the overabundance of Fortnite in it, to the cringy YouTuber moments and or just stupid references in YouTube Rewind 2018. It had it all in terms of what people did not like about it. And that brings us into our next controversy. A few months following the YouTube Rewind 2018 controversy, a very discreet controversy involving the 7 Supergirls channel occurred. But to start, the 7 Supergirls were a channel of 7 or more YouTube girls who would often do vlog-like videos, skits, or just some random videos to appeal to kids, and they were very popular at the time of their deletion. Their channel had over 9.5 million subscribers and over 5 billion viewers. So what is it that happened to this thriving channel that had been around since 2008? Well, on the day of March 12th of 2019, the 7 Supergirls channel was mysteriously shut down for unknown reasons, until it was quickly revealed by the actors and news sites that the channel had been shut down due to the founder, Ian Rylett, had been manipulating and abusing the girls that he had worked with sexually, and a few days before the founder had been actually sentenced to these charges, he had taken a plea deal.
Investigators said a 55-year-old touched a 15-year-old at a Disney area hotel. This is News 6 at 5. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. We first told you about this story last October when deputies arrested Ian Rylett. News 6's Jerry Askin is live at the Orange County Courthouse, and Jerry Rylett pleaded guilty to child abuse today.
Yes, and because of that, he'll now spend 61 days behind bars in Orange County. Now with that guilty plea, he'll serve his time in hopes of not being a convicted felon. He stood next to his lawyer in court today and didn't say much. YouTube producer Ian Rylett pled guilty to child abuse, accused of molesting a 15-year-old actress who he hired last summer to be in his videos.
Hey guys, it's 7 Supergirls!
He runs this pretty known YouTube channel showcasing teens shopping and dressing up in costumes. Now he'll sit behind bars for the next 2 months after a judge today accepted his guilty plea.
Having accepted your plea, I'm going to withhold adjudication. I'm going to sentence you to 90 days in Orange County Jail with 29 days credit for time served.
Prosecutors say it all went down here at this Disney area hotel. The team, they say, had just signed a contract allowing for physical or bodily contact. Yet the victim said he went too far.
He grabbed her breast, he manipulated or rubbed her breasts and told her she had to comply with the contract.
Now he's off to jail. A judge saying he can't have any contact or work around kids. And of course, he can't have any contact with the victim or her mother. And he also must pay all court costs and restitution. A judge today also saying he must serve 5 years probation. We're live in Orange County, in downtown Orlando. I'm Jerry Askin, getting results. News 6.
So it's clear that Ian Rylett had been doing these malicious acts dating all the way back to October of 2018. Following these revelations, actors from the 7 Supergirls channel, as previously mentioned, spoke out against their manager Ian Rylett, confirming the weird things that he would often want the girls to do, such as not wearing shoes inside, because he claims that they didn't want any brand advertisement problems, but in reality, the girls would often claim that Ian had a foot fetish. Along with this, weeks, months, or even years down the road, the girls from the 7 Supergirls channels and their associated channels would often make responses on what they remember what it was like working with the channel, and how often the manager would get very touchy with them, such as previously mentioned, not wearing shoes on set, only wearing bikinis on set, and other weird things that were overall creepy to the girls. And it's interesting what this man could have potentially did for his sick fulfillment and potentially others online. And with that, it really makes you wonder what ratio of viewers between kids and grown adults watch these videos. Moving forward to our year 2020, when a lot of crazy events were going on as we know it, something people really seem to forget or not even realize is just the overall transition of classic YouTubers off of the YouTube website, such as at one point YouTube star Nigahiga, at one point being the most subscribed YouTuber on all of YouTube, last being seen in 2020, along with his last video on YouTube. Along with that, the YouTuber of this Forgotten Controversy, Jenna Marbles, who at one point was the queen of YouTube from 2010 all the way up to 2020. Being the most subscribed YouTube female at one point, and despite starting her career all the way back in 2010, and who hasn't been active for 3 years, her channel is still in the top 3 most subscribed female YouTuber channels. But what is it that happened to her last public video was all the way back in 2020? Well, it began where else but 2020, when Jenna, a lot like other YouTubers at the time, were getting flack for doing racist acts in their past videos, such as racism and blackface, with a plethora of news sites jumping on the story, when on June 25th, she would post a response video originally called A Message on the criticisms involving her that would soon be set to private on her channel. But in the video, she would go into depth about the changing culture, as well as revealing her past controversial videos, saying that for the time when these videos were made and released, it was socially acceptable to act this way. Jenna would also apologize for anyone she offended for her past things that she did, or even said that someone could take offense to. And she said that at the end of the video, she would be taking an extensive break from the internet, whether that be temporary or permanent, she hadn't figured out yet. But judging by the fact that she hasn't been seen on the internet since 2020, I'd say we have our answer. And that concludes the Forgotten Controversies of YouTube. It's really something when you just consider the evolution of this website, and no matter what era of YouTube you go, controversy will be around every corner. And thank you all so much for watching this video. It's really a grind to make these videos, so help of any kind would be appreciated, but not obligated. And with that, have a great day.